Tabitha from Bewitched is a bombshell now at 55. In the movie industry, there's a popular saying to the effect that some performers are stars from birth, while others achieve stardom by working hard and developing their skills. In the case of Erin Margaret Murphy, it's safe to state that she was born a star. This is because she started acting very early in life and made her name during her impressive performance as Tabitha in the popular 1960s series titled Bewitched. After all this time, Erin is still as beautiful and as enchanting as she was when she made her acting debut many years ago. Here are some things you should know about this wonderful actress and some other characters who starred in Bewitched many years ago. She was born a twin. Erin was born a twin, and her twin sister is named Diane. However, contrary to what some people thought, the girls are not identical twins. They're actually fraternal twins. However, there's a bit of resemblance when both girls were little. In fact, Erin shared the role of Tabitha Stevens in the Bewitched with her twin sister for 18 episodes of that sitcom. As the twins got older and started looking less alike, Diane left the sitcom and Erin played the role alone until the end of the series. The series was shown in black and white television. In this era of smartphones, Netflix, and liquid crystal display (LCD) TV sets, it's hard to believe that people actually watched black and white television. The truth is that the popular series Bewitched was aired on black and white TV during the first 2 seasons. It was only during the 3rd season that the series was aired on color television, and with this move, the popularity of the series hit the roof. Erin loved Elizabeth Montgomery. In this sitcom, Elizabeth Montgomery played the role of Samantha Stevens, the mother of Tabitha Stevens. This little girl and the star worked well together during the series and became close later in life. According to Erin, her own biological parents were not there on set to look out for her, so she saw Elizabeth Montgomery as a mother figure and part of her own family. She also liked the fact that both actresses looked alike, had tons of humor, and were generally on the same page, even in spite of the age gap between the two. Erin described Elizabeth as a very beautiful woman who was not afraid to look silly. The two women continued their friendship off-screen, and Erin was devastated when Elizabeth passed away in 1995 from colon cancer at age 62. Elizabeth Montgomery was multi-talented. Erin was not the only character to play multiple roles in the series. The immensely talented Elizabeth Montgomery also assumed multiple roles in the series. She played her own leading role as Samantha Stevens, but she also acted as the mischievous cousin Serena. For this role, she had to raise her voice considerably so that she came across as a different character. She used the name Pandora Spox as a pseudonym in her role as Serena. Montgomery did so well in this popular sitcom that she earned 4 award nominations, including 3 nominations for Golden Globe Best Female TV Star Award. Bewitched plot was based on other movies. One thing many people do not know is that this popular series was based on 2 movies of that era. Their movies were I Married a Witch and Bell, Book and Candle. Sol Sachs, who played an instrumental role in the production of Bewitched, admitted the connection between these films and the sitcom Bewitched. However, he pointed out that since the owners of both films were also the owners of the company that produced Bewitched, there was no fear of litigation. Witchcraft was trending at the time. In case you've ever wondered why Bewitched was so popular in those days, the answer is quite simple. Witchcraft was very popular back in the 1960s. Witchcraft and the activities of goddesses were very popular topics back then, and many viewers simply loved programs with the witchcraft theme. Again, there was a connection between the power of female witches and the emerging women's liberation movement at the time. Sol Sachs was astute enough to notice this connection. He took advantage of this positive situation, and the rest, as they say, is history. Elizabeth Montgomery was hot. The star of the series, Elizabeth Montgomery, was a red-hot woman at the time of the popular series. She was a stunning beauty, and she enchanted every man she met. In those days, she had high-profile relationships with Gary Cooper, Dean Martin, and the one and only Elvis Presley. The effect of the supernatural. Anytime you have a successful series like Bewitched, people would read meaning into seemingly innocent occurrences in real life and attribute this to the theme of the sitcom. Many of the actors and actresses on the set of Bewitched died of cancer and cancer-related causes at relatively young ages. Elizabeth Montgomery died at 62, even though some sources put her at age 57 when she died. Alice Pierce died of cancer, and Paul Lynde died of a heart attack. Dick York died of emphysema, and Dick Sargent died of cancer. All these people were under 65 when they died. Some fans claimed there was a curse on the show, but this writer doesn't agree with this. The truth is that many people on the set were heavy smokers, and most of them loved their booze as well. It's likely that poor lifestyle and poor dietary habits were responsible for the relatively early deaths of the characters on the set of Bewitched. The family physician. In this series, the Stevens family had a physician called Dr. Bombay. The doctor, portrayed by Bernard Fox, was a witch doctor with an interesting disposition. As expected, he usually showed up in outlandish costumes, and he had all the positive attributes of an Asian or African witch doctor. After his performance in Bewitched, he made 2 more appearances in the spin-off series Tabitha. Bernard Fox was a great actor, and his work on screen is not limited to his appearance on Bewitched and Tabitha. He had an impressive career and went to act in many movies, including Titanic and The Mummy. Dick York as tragic character. Life on the set of Bewitched was not all flowers and candy. Some of the characters on the sitcom endured plenty of misery, but the fans were blissfully unaware of these things. Dick York, for instance, was not in the best shape during his time on the set. He acted the lead male role for a while, but it was clear he couldn't last long on the set. Dick had severe back pain, and he needed painkillers to cope with the pain. During the 5th season of the sitcom, a doctor gave Dick a shot of B12, but the actor reacted horribly to the medication. He ended up having a seizure and was rushed off to the hospital. After this incident, he never returned to the set, but life must continue, and this is why Dick Sargent stepped in to take his place. Alice Pierce copes with cancer diagnosis. Another character on the set who deserves our respect is Alice Pierce. On the set of Bewitched, she was the nosy and quirky neighbor named Gladys Kravitz. She was diagnosed with ovarian cancer 4 months she got her role in the show. She kept her diagnosis to herself and continued working, hoping for the best. Unfortunately, her optimism did not pay off because she died suddenly in March 1966. Alice Pierce got a posthumous award of Outstanding Supporting Actress Emmy Award for her work on the show. Some people claim she ought to have disclosed to the directors of the show that she had cancer, but what good would that have done? This writer considers Alice Pierce a hero who coped well with her cancer diagnosis and continued working right up until the very end of her life. Elizabeth Montgomery and inaccurate descriptions. In real life, Elizabeth Montgomery was a deeply private person who didn't even want her vital statistics to be made public. However, this doesn't quite justify all the inaccuracies that were peddled about her when she died. First off, some people claim she was 57, but she was actually 62 when she died. Some obituaries listed her marital status as single, but she was married to Robert Foxworth before she died. Her own death certificate even got her name wrong. Her death certificate had her name as Elizabeth A. Montgomery, but her middle name was Victoria. Elizabeth Montgomery got tired of her lead role. The popular sitcom Bewitched lasted many seasons. Sometimes it can be hard for one actor, or actress in this case, to keep playing the same role year after year. This is what happened to the leading lady, Elizabeth Montgomery. She grew tired of playing the same role and wanted to leave after the 5th season. However, she was doing an excellent job and the producers didn't want to see her leave the set. They offered her an irresistible sum of money and she stayed and continued working on the set. However, it was clear to discerning people at the time that her performance in the last 3 seasons were rather lackluster. Tabitha, the spin-off show. In the movie world, a hugely successful series sometimes leads to a sequel or a spin-off. In this case, the creators of Bewitched decided it would be a great idea to create another production based on the adult life of Tabitha Stevens. Unfortunately, Erin Murphy wasn't available to take any role in this project and it ultimately flopped. The role of Tabitha was played by Lisa Hartman. She didn't do well in the sitcom, but she eventually achieved success with other projects, including acting as Kathy Geary in the hit series Knots Landing. Elizabeth Montgomery as an activist. Apart from being an immensely successful actress, Elizabeth Montgomery was also famous as an activist in her own way. She had her own views on both liberal and social matters, and had no hesitation in expressing those views in both words and action. For instance, at the time she was about to end her Samantha role on the sitcom Bewitched, she stopped wearing bras when filming to show her support for the women's liberation movement. Erin Murphy, a woman of many parts. Nobody can accuse Erin Murphy of living an adult life. On-screen and off-screen, Erin has always been an active woman, and she spends her time and resources to promote causes that are close to her heart. For instance, she's an outspoken advocate of autism awareness. This may have something to do with the fact that her son, Parker, was diagnosed with the condition. She's also an excellent motivational speaker, an acting teacher, a fashion stylist, and a casting director. In between her acting and other endeavors, she also found time to marry 3 times and have 6 children. Actors used their own clothes. You'll be surprised to hear that some actors on the set of the insanely popular sitcom Bewitched provided their own costumes. Casey Rogers, who played the role of Louise Tate, admitted that supporting actors on the set usually brought their own clothes to the set, and these clothes were cleaned and ironed by the wardrobe department. Sentimental gestures. If you've always thought of actors and actresses as cold-blooded and money-minded people, you have to think again. Don't let the glitz and the style you see on the set deceive you. Many people in the movie industry are simple folks with kind hearts. The Agnes Moorehead example will bring you close to tears. This character actually wore a starburst brooch, and Elizabeth Montgomery often admired the pin. In 1974, when Agnes Moorehead passed away, she bequeathed the pin to Elizabeth Montgomery. It was a touching gesture, and we can end this story on that lovely, sentimental roll.